Welcome to Out of the World, and in this episode a very special one. You already saw us traveling through Asia, but this time we're going to group with Pangea Travels from the Netherlands and see the most beautiful parts of West Malaysia. And this behind me is the first stop, Kuala Lumpur. In the previous episodes you saw us in Vietnam, and over there we made a beautiful tour through the mountains of the north. And we fly to a new adventure in Malaysia from Hanoi. We arrived in the biggest and busiest city of Malaysia. This is Kuala Lumpur and our view is amazing, as is the room in the Kuala Lumpur Journal. We got ourselves a front row seat, a bed, and the adventure starts with a bang. We take a Grab, the Asian equivalent of Uber, and the first activity is something that a Dutch guy like me can appreciate. This is the big city, guys, Kuala Lumpur. And how can we explore this better than by bike? We're gonna rent a bike at Mike Bikes and make a little cycling tour with them of about 3 to 4 hours to see all the best places in Kuala Lumpur. Let's go! Dressed up in orange, we surrender to the guide and the bustle of this immense city. Right in the middle of Kuala Lumpur is a place that you would not expect, and that's our first stop. This is Kampung Baru, and the people live here as they did hundreds of years ago. And why is that? 120 years ago, the Industrial Revolution started in Malaysia and this city was being built. And the original people, the farmers, were being pushed out. So the Sultan gave them a piece of land on which we are standing right now, and it's worth over $4 billion. But they got it from the government and they live here in a traditional village. What a great sight is this old-fashioned farmer's village near that skyline. And since 2020, the two are connected by a bridge, the Pintasan Saloma. The contrast between the village and the city couldn't be bigger at the bridge that I'm standing on right now, because behind me is the village and over there are the towers. For me this is very funny because we have the Johan Cruyff Foundation in the Netherlands and he makes these football courts, but they donated one here in Malaysia as well. Super nice! We continue the bike ride along the most famous mosques and temples. A very nice thing about Malaysia is that you have the freedom to believe in whatever you want. Most of the people are Muslims, but for instance we are now in a Sikh temple. It's called a Gurdwara and they have a kitchen where everybody of every belief can eat for free as long as you do the dishes. In Sikhism, all the beliefs are equal and everyone is welcome in this temple. What a wonderful experience, and we cycle on through the city of KL. The next stop, while we hear the mosque in the background, is the market, and we're gonna try some local herbs, spices and fruits over here to get to know them a little bit better, the locals. But we start at the local snack stand. So we're trying a local dish, it's called murtaba. It's like a curry pancake. Kind of tastes a bit Indian, but it's a local traditional food. Very good. And then we go into the market dome to taste some tropical fruits that Malaysia is known for. First up, a fresh sweet rambutan. And Sus is trying longan here, also called the dragon's eye. This is a deliciously sweet mangosteen. And finally we try this bittersweet langsat. We stroll past all the sections of the market and are amazed. And it also makes us hungry. Time for a typical Malaysian lunch. The cycling tour of Mike Bikes was so much fun and we already saw a lot of the city. But we're now moving on to a literal highlight of Kuala Lumpur. The next place we're going to visit in KL are the Petronas Twin Towers, and they're still a couple of the biggest buildings in the world. With a super fast elevator you can go up in the towers of 452 meters. But we make the first stop at 170 meters for something special. The Petronas Twin Towers used to be a couple of the highest buildings in the world. They have lost that record a long time ago because of all the high buildings that are being built. But they still have one record. They have the highest sky bridge in the world, on which I'm standing right now. It's sick.
Where did I go wrong?
In 1998, the Petronas Twin Towers were the tallest buildings in the world. And for the first time, that record was no longer in hands of Western countries.
Keeps on changing, and these broken thoughts are waking. I don't like to fly.
The highest floor here would be 88, but we as guests can only go until 86. But I think that's plenty. That's high enough for me. The other Petronas Twin Tower over there.
Headed down that slope, then I float to the coast with a lump in my throat. Say.
After 98, exactly 20 towers were built that are higher. But these remain the most beautiful.
Singing a song with lyrics that don't rhyme. I keep fading away to a place that don't feel safe. And I pray that I wake up one day. I'm falling to pieces, I'm breaking apart. I'm ready to fix this, but where do I start? Where do I start? I'm breaking apart. I'm ready to fix this, but where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I?
A place not to be missed in KL is Dataran Merdeka, also known as Independence Square. The building behind me used to be the British Colonial Office, and this used to be a cricket field. In 1957, on the highest flagpole in the world, the Malaysian flag was raised for the first time and the British were moved out.
Don't turn a sinner to a saint though. I'm strung out, I'm anxious, I can't get high if I never get low. And I choke up when I think about how
And this place is also a nice starting point for a walk between the colonial buildings.
can't find a way out. I'm falling to pieces, I'm breaking apart.
And what's a big city these days without a sign? I love KL. I do.
Where do I start?
Our super quick city trip in Kuala Lumpur is almost over, but we take a dive on the rooftop pool before we move on to the rest of West Malaysia. For our big trip in West Malaysia, of course, we rented a car. And the first stop is about 4 hours away from Kuala Lumpur in Taman Negara, the best jungle in West Malaysia. Let's go! During our first long drives, the city slowly gives way to the overwhelming nature. Malaysia is located near the equator and 2/3 of the country is tropical rainforest. Wow, guys! We're almost at Taman Negara and I was looking around me and I thought, wow, this is what you want in Malaysia. The jungle, all the palm trees around us. We're gonna park the car on the side of the river and then we're gonna cross with a boat towards our hotel this night because we're sleeping inside the national park. We arrived just in time at the jetty to take the boat to cross the river towards the jungle where we sleep in the national park because it's raining cats and dogs and we are dry just on time. Mother Nature is watering the plants today and it's all part of the adventure because on average it rains here almost 20 days a month. But the showers are short and heavy. Oh my god, guys, what a trip. We're finally here in the jungle and this is our cabin with the raindrops on the rooftop. Loving it. We're having a late night dinner and then we're off to a good night's sleep between the sounds of the jungle. Taman Negara is the most important national park in West Malaysia. It's about 4,300 square kilometers big and the animals you can find here are elephants, wild pigs, deer, tapirs and leopards. But the chance you get to see them is really small because the jungle is so dense. We're gonna try and see some of them and make a little jungle walk today. At the start of our hike, we immediately see a lot of monkeys. And from the resort, you can walk straight into the wilderness. Look at this golden orb spider. After a walk of approximately 45 minutes through the jungle, we arrive at the literal highlight of today, which is the canopy walk. We're gonna explore the jungle between the treetops and hop from bridge to all the platforms. Super cool. With a length of 530 meters, this is the longest continuous suspension bridge in the entire world. From the treetops we see these spectacled langurs between the trees. And also these hornbills.
It's a lovely new day again in jungle paradise, Taman Negara. And today we're gonna make a little boat ride, go for a new adventure, because after half an hour we're gonna go on land somewhere and visit a beautiful waterfall.
We sail for at least an hour on the Tembeling River, far outside of civilization.
On the way to the waterfall we stop at the highest and oldest tree in the entire area. This tree is 70 meters high and it's about 400 years old. They call it a tualang tree. And to walk around it takes me about half a minute.
There we spot the first wild animals. In the late afternoon, these elephants emerge along the river. We make a quick stop along the way to feed the fish. This local carp species is called kela. We walk a bit further alongside the river on our way to the most beautiful spot of this jungle, and suddenly almost step on this striped bronzeback snake. And there we are in the middle of the Tubebackr waterfall, a breathtaking place in the middle of the mighty tropical rainforest. It almost looks like a painting.
This trip was also worth it very much. We saw so much of the jungle, but now we're moving on, heading to the car and traveling on through Malaysia. By car we drove a bit up north towards the Cameron Highlands. It was named after William Cameron, the explorer who discovered it in 1885. This is the highest plateau in West Malaysia, about 2,000 meters high. It's super green, it has a lush jungle and a lot of tea plantations, so an area worth visiting.
From the lodge in our jungle we see the landscape slowly changing. It's just as green, but the trees are shrouded in a fairy tale mist.
In the Cameron Highlands we're staying at a fantastic hotel. It's on a mountaintop with beautiful views all around and we're almost in the clouds here. The name is Strawberry Park, named after the many strawberry farms that are in the neighborhood. I'll show you the hotel.
This hotel is already a sight on its own. Overlooking the valley, it is just outside of the town called Princhang, which is the center of all the attractions. And with the drone we can see how spectacular this location actually is. After a long journey, it is wonderful to come home to this relaxing hotel room. It is a lot cooler here and it sometimes feels like we're in Europe, in the Alps.
Time to explore the area, guys. We're going into the Cameron Highlands with this cool Jeep, so we're going in style. Let's go, guys! Because it's a Sunday, we have a lot of traffic jams, unfortunately, so it takes a long time to get anywhere.
We first drive towards the town of Princhang. And it's no punishment to stop for a while along the way. The area is known for the many types of fruit that are grown here, and you can see that everywhere. But the biggest attraction in the Cameron Highlands are the extensive tea plantations. Our route straight through them is breathtaking.
As we drove a bit through the tea plantations, we could see that there's everything here for the workers. They even have mosques, churches, playgrounds, schools, everything for the people that live and work here. But for us, the most fun part is of course the restaurant at the top to look out over the tea plantations and have a little cup of Malaysian tea here, fresh from the farm.
And that cup of tea comes with a fantastic view over the Bo tea plantation. About 100 years ago, the English brought the tea here from Sri Lanka. But the name Bo comes from Mandarin and means happiness. And it's not so hard to get that feeling here. We drive on to taste another celebrity of the Cameron Highlands.
This is fun, guys. They have white strawberries and they're famous in this region and they're super sweet. I love it.
When the night falls on our spectacular balcony, we see several pied hornbills.
Despite the rain, it was a super fun day and we got to taste the Malaysian tea, typically from the Cameron Highlands, and the strawberries that we can eat on the way. So let's go, because next up is Penang.
But on the way we first stopped to have a little playtime at the local fair. And the spectacular nature also forces us to make a few extra stops.
The driving route was already very beautiful, but suddenly we passed this giant waterfall. Look at it, it's spectacular.
We drive to the historic island of Penang.
The island of Penang has always been one of the most important places in Malaysia. It was called the Pearl of the East, and we're now standing in Georgetown, a city founded by the British and named after King George III. A lot of these colonial houses make it so that it's still listed as UNESCO World Heritage, and we're staying in Chinatown. So let's explore this lovely city.
After the British era, Georgetown has become an important trading post for the Chinese. The combination of colonial European and modern Asian architecture creates the unique streetscape of the city. The island of Penang has always remained a melting pot of different nationalities and religions, which can easily coexist. The colonial building where we stay in Chinatown fits well into the atmosphere of this special city. And a swimming pool is no luxury at a temperature of around 32 degrees Celsius. After a royal breakfast, it's time to explore the cultural highlights of the city.
When you visit Penang, you will see that you're making a world trip in one day. We start in Thailand. This is Wat Chaya Mangkalaram, a temple from 1845, and it's best known for its reclining Buddha. It's one of the largest in the world, inside there of 33 meters long. Let's have a look.
The British had good relations with the Siamese Empire in the 19th century, and this temple is still living proof. The reclining Buddha was built later in 1958, and the King of Thailand came to see it in person.
It's funny and weird, but we actually feel like we're in Thailand again. Have you seen Buddha, Jens? Beautiful.
Let's jump forward in time to the end of the 19th century when the Chinese came to Georgetown.
A very important part of Georgetown are the jetties. You can find them on the water near the harbor, and they belong to Chinese families. When they first migrated here, they didn't want to pay any tax, so very smart, they built their houses on the water. I'm standing here on the Chu jetty that belongs to the Chu family.
The Chu jetty is the oldest, dating from 1888, but a total of 6 jetties were built in the following century. The families are still living here in exactly the same traditional way. In the past we made some beautiful trips to China, and today it felt like we were right back over there. We continue the trip and first look for the most beautiful street art.
We had Thailand, we had China, and now we're in India. The world trip continues today, guys, because this is Little India with the colorful streets, which are perfect to walk around in another part of Georgetown.
It really feels a bit like India here, but including the famous monsoon, because we can immediately shelter from the rain. After Little India, we settled down in Kuan Im Teng, the Chinese temple of the goddess of mercy. Built in 1728, this is the oldest temple of the city, and one of the first in all of Malaysia. Well guys, Georgetown was one big open-air museum. Our stay in Penang was a journey through time and through the world. In the evening we feel like traveling to Italy. Pizza!
For the last time here in Penang, we have this delicious breakfast, because this is something I'm gonna miss at this hotel. But we're gonna travel on through West Malaysia, and the next destination will be Langkawi. So, flying from Penang to Langkawi is really fun, because after 15 minutes, when the seatbelt signs are finally off, you get to put it back on again, because the total flight's like half an hour. But now we are in Holiday Villa Beach on Langkawi, and this is the room.
the island Langkawi we will stay in two different hotels, and the first one is way down on the southern tip with a beautiful garden and nice views over the ocean and the surrounding islands. So before we go and explore Langkawi, I wanted to show you the view with the drone from the sky.
The island of Langkawi is about 500 square kilometers big and is inhabited by 100,000 people. In total, this group of islands has 99, of which most are uninhabited. This spot in Holiday Villa Beach is in the middle of nature on this relaxed island.
What an island, guys! And to explore Langkawi a little bit better, I think you need a rental car. We rented one, and today we're gonna make a little tour around the island. The most you can drive here is about an hour, and on 30 minutes drive you will find one of the most beautiful sights of the island, and it's unique for the entire world, I promise you.
You can get a car on Langkawi for about 25 bucks a day, and the roads are remarkably quiet when compared to Thailand or Bali, for example.
The special place I was referring to and which we visit today is called Kilim Geoforest Park. It's like a mangrove forest combined with super huge karst mountains that rise high above the water, about 500 million years old. And we're gonna make a little boat trip today along the caves, eagles, the waters and the karst mountains for about 2 hours, and it's all UNESCO World Heritage. So let's see.
A private boat for the whole afternoon costs us about 50 bucks. And it's worth it, because look at this, guys, this is what we came for. Along the river, the limestone mountains are impressive, but there are also many mysterious caves and wild animals. Along the way, we will make several stops to find some hidden treasures.
Wow, guys, how exciting. The first stop is a bat cave, and they're all around us. Look, Jens. We're sailing on to the next cave, which is the Crocodile Cave. And this area, guys, is a natural phenomenon.
The Crocodile Cave is named after the entrance that resembles the mouth of a crocodile, and not because there are real crocodiles here. I'm sorry.
Our next stop is very special as well, because this is a floating fish farm. So they have all the local fish from around here, and they're doing the breeding on a raft.
When we arrive, they are just feeding the rays, but they also have large sea bass and other predatory fish.
So we sailed a bit through the geoforest park, and on the other side we're almost in Thailand, because over there is the border between Malaysia and Thailand. And on the way we saw this amazing spot where hundreds of eagles flew around the boat, and I caught a lot of them on camera. So here are the images.
Yes guys, this is also something unique that I've never seen before. We see hundreds of eagles and watch them fly in slow motion. Time to sail back through the impressive landscape for some more adventure. Langkawi is full of monkeys, and you can see that when you drive around here. We come home for a quick dip and then we're out for a fancy dinner.
The sun is shining and it's another day in paradise, guys. And on days like these, I'd like to explore the most beautiful beaches of Langkawi. So we're taking the car and heading out to one of the most secluded beaches, surrounded by palm trees, right in the nature. And the other one is the main beach, the most popular one, which we also want to see, of course. Let's go!
It's easy to find the way because the increasing numbers of monkeys shows us that we're going into nature.
So after driving half an hour up north, we made it to the most perfect beach I was talking about. This is Pantai Pasir Tengkorak, right in the middle of nature. That's the Malaysian name, but in English it's Sandy Skulls Beach. Sandy Skulls. What a weird name, right? For such a paradise-like place.
Our beach is in an area with more of these secluded bounty beaches. Langkawi is still remarkably untouched despite the tourism. We hit the brakes for this giant monitor lizard.
The biggest and the most popular beach that you can find on Langkawi is named Pantai Senang. And that's where we are today, in the afternoon, to have some lunch, make a nice walk, enjoy a swim, everything you can do around here. I love it.
Today we leave planet Earth behind and we go to heaven. 3 houses in the jungle. Yes, please.
We saved the best for last, guys, because we switch hotels one last time here. On Langkawi we go to the most beautiful resort on the island and maybe in entire Malaysia. This is Berjaya Resort, and the houses here are built on stilts in the jungle and on the water. So this is the room and I'll show you our view later. It's awesome.
location of Berjaya Resort makes this one of the most beautiful places I have ever slept. Right in the middle of natural paradise.
What do you think about the pool, guys? And I got it all to myself.
Let me show you guys the inside of our luxurious cabin.
Of course, the surrounding nature is incredible and the views over the ocean and in the jungle are great. But what I really like about this resort are the animals. We saw a lot of monkeys and hornbills from up close.
This family of spectacled langurs hangs around the beach for a day just like us. Look at the baby. And I've also never seen so many hornbills. They fly off and on all day long. Tonight we have something to celebrate because it's Suze's birthday!
That's about it, guys, for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did, and for the last couple of days we'll just chillax at this resort. I hope you liked it. We're going on to the next adventure and it will be Australia. So I'm gonna see you there.
Oh wait, we got a little bucket list stopover.
Wow guys, how is this for a bucket list item? I never slept on an airport before, right on the airport. We just came off a flight and before we take the next one tomorrow to Australia, we're staying in Sama Sama Hotel on Kuala Lumpur Airport. And check this room. I think sleeping's gonna be fine here. Woo!
In the coming weeks, watch kangaroos, Australian vibes and, above all, unique places during our road trip along the west coast of Australia. Like the episode and subscribe to travel along. Ciao!